Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, December 31st. A chilly morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region as we end 2014. Low temperatures this morning in the lower 20s in many suburban locations, and highs this afternoon will struggle to pass the freezing mark up and down the I-95 corridor. There should be some sunshine, but also some brisk conditions with a northwest breeze at times. And again, quite cold, well below normal for this time of the year. Overnight tonight, temperatures will drop sharply. They'll reach the mid to upper teens in many suburban locations by early tomorrow, perhaps the low 20s in the big cities of D.C., Philly, and New York City by early tomorrow. And it'll stay cold through the rest of the work week. But over the weekend, there will be some milder air pushing towards us as low pressure moves to the north and west of the I-95 corridor from the south-central U.S. into the Great Lakes region by later on Sunday. However, at the onset of the weekend precipitation event, there will be a cold air damming situation anchored by very strong Arctic high pressure up to the north across southeastern Canada. Cold air will be well entrenched in the I-95 corridor as we begin the weekend. Hence, there will be the possibility of a brief period of snow and or ice at the onset of the weekend precipitation event. Well, let's start off by taking a look at the latest surface map. Yesterday we talked about very strong high pressure out in the northern Rockies, and that is still the case. A piece of it has broken off into the central plains. Basically, these two high-pressure systems dominate the scene across the nation. Their influence has spread to the south and east with very chilly air now well established here in the eastern U.S. Also, some very cold air has spilled out into the southwestern U.S. This low-pressure area is actually going to generate a significant snowfall for portions of the desert in the southwest U.S. Places across northern Arizona, southern Utah, southern Nevada could see several inches of snow, especially in those higher elevation locations over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Well, let's take a look at a couple of radar loops from the Penn State EWAL site. This is of the northeastern part of the country, and then we'll take a look at the southwestern U.S. where some very interesting things are going on as we close out the year of 2014. First of all, some snow showers are moving downstream of the Great Lakes, snow flurries and snow showers, mainly confined to the higher elevations across upstate Pennsylvania, upstate New York, but it's not out of the question that some flurries reach all the way into the New York City metro region, certainly across the higher elevation locations of northwestern New Jersey, and not only over the next couple of hours, but really into the evening hours. There can be some flurry activity in and around the New York City metro region, and even just to the north and west of the Philadelphia metro region across southeastern Pennsylvania. But definitely will be some sunshine today along with those brisk and cold conditions. Meanwhile, in the other corner of the nation, in the southwestern U.S., some snow is breaking out right now in the southern part of Nevada, the southern California mountain areas, and all across northern Arizona. Northern Arizona, southern Utah could get more than half a foot of snow in those higher elevation locations over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. A very cold atmosphere this morning to close out the year of 2014 in the desert southwest. Well, let's take a look at last night's Zero-Z operational GFS model run for the upcoming weekend event, and we'll look ahead into next week. Some very interesting prospects, not only for the weekend, but for next week as well. Brutally cold air is on the table for later next week across much of the eastern U.S. It could possibly be preceded by some snow in the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame of next week. But let's first focus in on the weekend event. Saturday morning, we have, and this is the forecast map for Saturday morning, we have strong Arctic high pressure up to the north here across southeastern Canada. When you see kinks in the isobar pattern, as we have right here, that represents a cold air damming situation in which cold air drops all along the coast east of the Appalachians, all the way down into the Carolinas region, and that will be the case early Saturday morning before this large area of moisture heads in our direction. Cold air, dry air will be well established, well entrenched in the I-95 corridor. This certainly can lead to the onset of the precipitation event to be in the form of something frozen, snow and or sleet, perhaps even freezing rain for a while, especially in the suburban locations of the big cities along the I-95 corridor. Let's now jump ahead in 6-hour increments to see the precipitation advance into the I-95 corridor region. Again, this is early Saturday morning. Now, this is early Saturday afternoon. By the way, these are maps from tropicaltidbits.com. Notice an outbreak here in pink across eastern West Virginia, western Virginia. That's some kind of a frozen precipitation mixture of freezing rain and sleet. Let's go another 6 hours here. And finally, by early Saturday evening, blue showing up here throughout much of eastern Pennsylvania, especially over the Poconos. That is snow. Precipitation type here in blue represents those areas where the model is predicting snow. Some freezing rain and sleet out across western Pennsylvania and western Virginia. Rain at this time, plain rain across the D.C. metro region, but certainly at the onset, especially north and east of the Mason-Dixon line and in the northern and western suburbs of Philly and New York City, there can be a period of snow and or ice later Saturday into early Saturday night before the ultimate changeover to plain rain. And the ultimate changeover to plain rain is almost a definite thing. I hate to say anything is definite in the world of weather, but when the surface low pressure rises up to the north and west into the eastern Great Lakes, ultimately the milder air will win out and the cold air will retreat to the north and east. Let's jump ahead another 6 hours. And here's the forecast map for about the middle of the night, maybe 1 a.m. Early Sunday morning. And notice now, not only rain, but some significant rain from New York City down across Philadelphia, and still some lingering rainfall across D.C. just to the north of the New York City metro region, and let's say the lower Hudson Valley, still in the form of snow. And they certainly can get some accumulations up across interior sections of New York State and New England before even there an ultimate changeover occurs to rain. Let's jump ahead another 6 hours. Now it's pretty much all rain from New York City all the way down to D.C. Now this is early Sunday morning. The precipitation starting to pull out already by this time. Early Sunday morning across D.C., maybe some lingering rain showers across southeastern Pennsylvania and into the New York City region. Let's now jump ahead another 6 hours. And here we go, drying out by Sunday afternoon. And now colder air starts to pour in here for the early part of next week. Let's jump ahead 12 hours here. And this is the forecast map for Monday morning. And then by Tuesday morning, the Clipper type of system starts to show itself here by the GFS model. This is not the only model showing a Clipper type of system. By Clipper, we mean something fast-moving, dropping out of the western part of Canada. Because it's fast-moving, it tends to be called a Clipper type of system, but it can produce some snow in the Mid-Atlantic region. Let's now jump ahead another 6 hours here, and you see the movement of this Clipper type system. Another 6 hours here. Now notice also here, by Tuesday morning, an area of moisture is also gathering itself along the East Coast. So the combination of the two could make it somewhat interesting by the middle part of next week. This is Tuesday afternoon, and finally Tuesday evening, and then we go into early Wednesday morning. We have kind of a low pressure area along the coast and a Clipper type system over the eastern Great Lakes. And on the backside of this, potential brutal cold air anchored by another very strong Arctic high pressure system for the second half of next week. That brutal cold shot looks like it may extend all the way down into the Florida peninsula. Let's jump ahead here. All this represents some brutally cold air moving across the Great Lakes from the north to the south all the way into Florida by the middle and latter part of next week. So quite an interesting weather pattern for this weekend. And then for next week, again, the weekend event looks primarily like a rain event here in the I-95 corridor. However, cold air damming can certainly cause a brief period of snow and or ice at the onset before the ultimate changeover to plain rain. Colder air moves in early next week. Then we'll have to watch for a clipper type of system combining with some moisture along the east coast, or perhaps throw some snow our way in the Tuesday time frame. And that looks like it could be followed by some very, very cold air into the U.S. for the second half of next week. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.